What's going on, Second Channel family? I'm back with another video. Figured I'd drop in. So today I was planning on racing in Tulsa, which is 2 hours away. It's a little XC race, which I was looking forward to because it was cheap. It was like $30 entry fee, and it seemed like a chill vibe. But just all week, I have not been feeling like, I'm not sick, I'm just kind of burnt down and exhausted. And I thought, like, okay, I'll just like basically rest all week. I rode for like 2 hours once, and yeah, I'm just super sore. I've had a sore lower back for like freaking 2 weeks now, dude, and it wasn't really going away. And at the same time, I was trying to get ready for this race, so I hurried up and got my XC bike, which I'm be riding today. I got my XC bike fully upgraded, and I had it done in time. Like, I could have went, but just a part of me, I wasn't really looking forward to it. And I knew that if I went and raced, I would have been happy that I did it. But just the fact to go do the race was just like oh, this is gonna be like a chore, and it's like the first race of the year, so I didn't really like that feeling, so I just decided to skip it. So I've only ridden once this week, and it is Sunday, so last day of the week to ride. And yeah, that's kind of how I want to roll with the whole racing and everything. Like with BMX, I was racing like once a month, traveling, flying with my bike, and after a while it does turn into like a chore, or like, you know, I had obligations to race, you know, with sponsors and everything. Now I don't have any obligations, so I don't want to be treating it like I did before with BMX. So like, if I'm not feeling it, screw it, I'll skip it. And that's part of the reason why I like to sign up to races like the last minute, just to have a way out if I don't want to do it. So racing is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a chore. And you know, I'm not like, I was gonna race Cat 3, which is like the novice category, but I'm not like in like super tip-top shape. I feel good, but I still weigh like 186 pounds, and that's not gonna be good for XC. I know I'm not gonna ever be like perfectly prepared for a race, especially Cat 3. I need to just get it done, but I don't know. Just traveling 2 hours for a race didn't really seem great. And next month, there's a pretty big national race in Fayetteville, so just the town over, and that's where I rode earlier this week. So yeah, I'll for sure be racing that one. Hopefully I didn't miss signups on that one. I better check that. But yeah, so about the XC bike, I know I mentioned it, or I had it on the channel like once or twice. Pretty fun bike, man, and the stock bike was 31.5 pounds. So my goal was to get a dropper post on it, which was a whole nightmare, and I now have a hole in my carbon frame. But the goal was to get it down below 25 pounds, so it's somewhat competitive. You know, it's a Polygon. It's a like a $1,600 carbon XC hardtail. You know, budget. It's a budget carbon hardtail. So I was like, okay, let's try to get below 25 pounds. I got this bike to 23.6 pounds, dude. I picked it up after I got it off the stand, and I was like, whoa, man, that was crazy. It is so light, and this will be my first ride on it, and hopefully it goes well. About the hole in the carbon, I had to find a way to route the cables, which I used the front derailleur cable guide. Just poked a hole in it. But then the dropper post contacted the water bottle cage mounts on the seat post. So I had to drill one of those out, but as I was drilling it out, it didn't like drill out and like break off. No, it like drilled, and then the whole rivet nut just pulled out of the frame. So yeah, there's like decent size. It's like a hole punch for paper. It's like that big around. So I'm like, shoot. I mean, they put a riv nut there. That's not structural, right? I don't think it'll affect the structural integrity of the frame, but I do think I'm gonna patch it with some carbon patch somehow, and maybe clear coat over that. That'll be a fun project. I just don't know if I want to make a long form video on that, because man, making a long form video on something that you've never done before and have to learn while you're doing it is really hard. It's like really mentally challenging. So, and it like definitely will cause a headache. So I don't really do those. It's really stressful. So I'm going to park this thing and we'll get riding. And here it is, Project Agro XC. I mean, this thing looks mean as it is. I am really happy with how it turned out. And yeah, I took a lot of stickers off my my wheels, the fork. I mean, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and I wouldn't do it any other way with a race bike than to take off all the logos for people that you know, aren't directly sponsoring me. Sure, you know, I got the wheel set for a pretty good deal last year, but hey, that was last year, so it's time to move on. Clean. I took the logos off here. These are Envy bars. I took the logos off the tires. So I mean, it's a freaking race bike right there. I can't wait. I was thinking about taking off XX1 logos, but that doesn't say like SRAM directly, so I'll leave it as is. I'm also trying out these Lewis brakes. These are kind of like a new brand. Really nice machining. They're 2-piston front and rears, and they're pretty powerful and cheap and light. So let's give this a go. Hopefully my my hole there isn't structural. I guess we'll find out. Well, I did a little climb so far, and it's going good. This bike was already good on single track and gravel, really compliant before all the parts, and all my fancy parts just made it even better. But if you watched the video where I was talking about my plans for it, I wanted to get inner bar ends, and I did, but the ones I got were like 50 bucks, and they were so lame. It was like plastic, wasn't even that comfortable. And then I got some Chinese ones that felt better in my hands, but I put them on the bar, and like it said they were inner bar ends, but they were definitely made for the outer. So I just returned that, and I'm rocking no inner bar ends. But these grips kind of make it so holding it inside a lot is a lot better, because there's no metal clamp right there. So ESI chunky grips. That person coming through. Yeah, ESI chunky grips, saving the day. The only problem with those is they're slip-on, and you can't slip them on and off. They're like glued on after you get them on. So yeah, I'm gonna keep grinding this out. Once I hit my flow state, I'll turn the camera back on. All right, about 30 minutes in, this bike already feels awesome. Gonna try out some jumps though. Oh. Yeah. Pretty good. Really, I'm headed to a really flowy single track. Let's see how this goes. But I think this bike might actually be better than my gravel bike at gravel.
I mean, this bike is so good. And I have heavier tires. I have Cushcore. So I think this bike could definitely go on gravel paths, maybe even better than the gravel bike. And I can do all the mountain bike stuff that I want. Yeah. Oh. In the stock configuration, this bike didn't ride well with chunk. But the more little rock gardens that I hit, the more I see that this bike is like really likes those rock gardens. And it's funny with climbing, I mean, it feels normal, nothing like game changing. But if I get on it like that, just to get over like a hump, like acceleration is crazy. I do feel that the rear end kind of gets hung up on some bumps, like a hardtail would, but maybe a little more drastic than I'm used to. And with it being so light, it's a little twitchy. Maybe I'm used to my e-bike just being super heavy and planted. Yeah. Oh, this trail is so cool. I love this trail. Yeah. Yeah, it's uphill flying. But if I back it down to 150 watts, I feel like my heart rate is lower. Like I can ride 250 on this thing pretty easily. And 250 is like a zone 4 for me. Look, a deer. Yeah, this is some good stuff. See what I'm at, 400. Definitely did not feel like it right there. I mean, this bike transfers the power to the pedals so efficiently. Yeah, man. Yeah, I feel like the people that watch this channel are, you know, fitness fanatics and have your experience with road bikes and XC. So let me know what you think. Do you like riding your XC bike? Yeah. That's Berm Creek right there. I'm going this way though. Whoa. Okay. Yes, dude. So sick. Yeah, so with the bike being not like super good at chunk, I'm just gonna play to the bike's strengths, right? Like, why do I gotta force it to ride chunk? Whoa. Wow, I cleaned that. Not every bike has to do everything. Like for the e-bike, I don't really take it on jumps. I take it on chunk and, oh, here we go, bush. Yeah, get it, man. That's funny. But yeah, I just take my e-bike on single track, that's what it's good at. I play to the bike's strengths. And this bike is freaking awesome on single track so far. But I just saw a guy go up bush push. This doesn't look super steep, but pretty steep, sustained. And I guess George W. Bush did this climb at 60 years old. I don't believe that for a second, but yeah, maybe I'll do that right now. Seems kind of fun. All right. All right, let's see if it'll tell me the grade. Yes, it will. All right, so I'm just gonna lock in and I'll be just fine. Oh, going off course. 9.0 grade so far, 14.8. It's 21. 23.5 grade, 25.4. Ooh, this hurts. 29. Ugh. That's a fun one. Oh man, that was pretty challenging. So with this bike being this light, you know, 23.6 pounds, I really thought that like climbing would just be like super duper easy, but climbing is still a workout, as evidenced by that 29% grade. But yeah, it's like this bike doesn't climb itself. So still got to work for it, but just everywhere else, it's fun, it's great. The short little accelerations, the nimbleness on the single track, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I think XC bikes are freaking awesome, dude. But now I'm gonna do some time testing, and we'll see how it stacks up with my like steel hardtail and all that stuff. Quick little flow trail action. See what this bike does. Yeah. Yeah, dude. This thing holds its speed really well. Oh yeah. Oh, they smooth that out. Excuse me. All right, I'm nearly done with the traversing single track. But here comes the rock garden. We'll see how this goes. Oh, a little rough. Maybe a bad line, I don't know. Yeah, so on regular trail bikes and stuff, even on the hardtail, like cresting this hill is kind of a three-part thing, where it's like you're grinding to get uphill, you get on top, you're kind of not pushing on the pedals for a second, and then you initiate pedaling downhill. But this XC bike really, like right here, it just kind of takes that three-part step of cresting a hill and just turns it into like one step where you're just powering through the top. And I imagine turning a 3-part step or a 3-step thing into 1 step probably saves like 2-3 seconds. Like right there, I mean, I just had no pause on the uphill. It was just instantly go to downhill. Yeah. Right there, great acceleration out of the turn, even though I'm not really trying to. Woo! Yeah. Wonder what that time was. All right, here's my KOM trail, medieval. 1 pedal off the top. It's quite windy, so not really expecting a whole lot. Oh, this bike turns so much better. Whoa, that's crazy. Whoa. Wow, I can hold a way lower line. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to jump this with the wind. Ah, cased it. So windy. I forgot to film an outro, but I started off the video by saying I didn't go race, but I just got off the freaking trainer there and I did my first race indoors. So I did a Zwift D-class race and I wasn't planning on it. And man, sometimes I get on Zwift and I just like, I can't help myself and I just put in like this big effort. But I mean, maybe that'll be beneficial to me, but oh man, I'm cooked. I am cooked. So I got on Zwift and it said, oh, there's a race starting in 4 minutes. And I wasn't even dressed. So I didn't even have water in my cup or anything. So I like rushed and did it. So a minute left, I got back on the trainer, or I got on the trainer and I just did like a little spin. So right off the bat, it was 33 riders and I'm thinking like, it's D class. I better win this thing. So right off the bat, like people are just kind of cruising around. I didn't really know the pace of a D class race. I've never done this before. So I saw instantly a gap opened up of like 10 people and then I was in the second group and I'm like, no, dude, no. So I just bridged the gap and I looked at the clock and it was like 2 minutes. But the thing is, I didn't know anything about this race. So I was like looking, I'm like, how long is this race gonna be? It said it was an epic, whatever that means. And it turns out it was 22 miles, 1,400 feet. So I was like, man, I don't know if I can make that, you know? I'm new to this whole thing, you know? So yeah, about 10 minutes in, it was getting a little hard, but it was like a hilly course with a couple like little mountain passes there. And yeah, I just kind of settled into a pace where I was like just doing 200 watts. I was staying with the group, you know, and sometimes they'd be doing like 130 watts. So I was like, all right, I can maintain this. I think I got this. So about halfway through, I saw one person kind of took off the front. So I was like, all right, I'm going to match them. So I caught up to them, but then I'm like, I can keep going because I can do pretty good at like standing and just doing like 350 watts. I can do that for like 2 minutes straight. And that closes a lot of gaps, I'm noticing. But then I opened up like a couple second gap and then it was like a rolly hill thing. So every time there would be like a crest of a rolling hill, I would just do like a 500 kick, 500 watt kick, 500 watt kick. And I could see the people behind me because Zwift shows like the second gap and their watts per kilo. I can show how hard they're going without you like turning around. I wish they did have like a turnaround function. That'd be kind of cool. But I could see them doing that. So I was just trying to punish them a little bit, maintain like a 3 second gap and just kind of 500 watts,
500 watts. Just punish them. So eventually it thinned out to like 7, and then it was at 5. And I don't really know how to use Zwift, so like I couldn't tell what was coming up ahead of me. I didn't know the course. But then it was pretty clear that this last climb was like, well, I don't know if it was in 2 sections or if it was 1, but it says like a volcano KOM, and it was said 10 minutes. So I was like, all right, here we go, settled in. So at this point we were down to 4, and it was getting pretty tough. The thing is, my heart rate strap wasn't like picking up, so I just took it off because that thing like kind of is restrictive. I feel like I want like a better one, or just like a watch one, because I don't know, heart rate doesn't matter like that much, as long as, I don't know, you tell me if the heart rate matters that much. So yeah, the last climb, and then I saw a guy kind of start just trickling away, and I'm like, shit, man, I made it this far, I need to win this freaking race. So a minute left of that climb, because you could see the chart, a minute left that climb, he was maybe 10 seconds ahead, and I'm like, nah, dude. So I got on the pedals. I wasn't like going like this. I just got on the pedals. I did like a 60 RPM cadence. I just got on the pedals, and I was doing 400 watts. And I was catching him pretty quick. And right at the end, right at the crest, I could tell he really wanted that KOM, because there was like a big KOM banner. And he freaking sprinted. It showed he was doing like 7-8 watts per kilo. He got the KOM points, like I was right on him. And then I saw his watts per kilo just go to 0. I think he just blew up. But then I was like, all right, I'm still going. So I kept pressing on the pedals pretty hard, maybe 250, 300 watts for another, I don't know, 30 seconds. And then I noticed that I opened up a freaking 20-second gap on the other 3 riders. So then from there on, I just kind of watched their watts per kilo, and I just tried to maintain that gap from, 20 to 15 seconds. And then at one point, I was like, all right, I'll just go 200 watts. 200 watts, that's all I need. And at one point I saw they went from 2.6 watts per kilo, and they backed it down to 2 watts per kilo. And I could maintain 2.6 pretty decently. I just had 3 miles to go, so I just maintained that. I gained another second on them, and I was like, all right, I got it. So then there was no sprint finish. My first endurance race, there was no sprint finish. It was just, I put a gap on them, and I kind of just chilled across the line. Freaking did it. I won, dude. So I don't know if a D-class win on Zwift is an accomplishment. You tell me. I mean, I'm pumped, dude. I mean, if you think about my mountain bike saga, starting from the beginning, I couldn't even ride 5 minutes continuously without like gassing out, having to take a 10-minute break. I would do like a 5-mile loop, and I thought it was like a pretty big deal. It would take me like an hour or more. Oh man, this is crazy. But yeah, let me know how you're doing on your training. Let me know your thoughts on that whole Zwift racing thing. I'm gonna do a quick weight check here. Where's my phone at? So I really don't think I've been losing much weight here. I got my scale in front of me. Let's see. Yeah, I'm at 188. I got a shirt on. I got the cycling shorts. So let's let it register. 187.9. I just probably lost a lot of water weight. So my weight has pretty much stabilized, like 188. 24.9. I was at like 22% body fat the other day. Fuck it, whatever. Whatever, dude. So not a lot of improvements on the weight front, but that Zwift win will definitely give me good, positive mental vibes moving forward. And yeah, the main channel's doing pretty decent. I had decided I was going to do high-low 2. I had a pretty good video with that T6 intro. So things are looking up. They're not Seth's views by any means, but hey, I wouldn't mind like half of his views. I usually get like a tenth of his views, but I wouldn't mind like half or a third. I wouldn't mind to hit like 100,000 views every video. That would be like a really legitimate thing for me and my family, and just kind of, you know, living comfortably, you know. So thanks for watching Second Channel, friends. I don't know when I'll check in again. Maybe I'm gonna try to do this weekly like people requested, because I like it. I like you guys. You're pretty cool. So if you made it this far in the video, say congrats on the win.